All right, number 5. This is Gene Robbins, who says, how should we interpret Deuteronomy 13, verses 6 through 9? Part of the chapter is often used on Mormons for Joseph Smith being a false prophet. But if rejecting a false prophet is required, would it follow that this is required too? This chapter, all or nothing. Okay, the chapter we'll read in a second here. It also refers to what you do to the false prophet when you find out they're false. So Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 6 through 9, you kill him. Okay, let's read the passage here together. If your brother, your mother's son, or your son or daughter, or the wife you cherish, or your friend, who is your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, whom neither you nor your fathers have known, of the gods of the peoples who are around you, near you or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end. Okay, any other god. If someone who you desperately love and is close to you tells you to worship some other false god, yet you shall not yield to him or listen to him, and your eyes shall not have pity him, nor shall you spare or conceal him. Oddly enough, like, may I say this? Total side note. This might be an Old Testament example of a very relevant current event. When a person's dear loved one, family member, husband, wife, child, comes out as, I'm pagan now, I'm atheist now, I'm openly homosexual now, I'm transgender now, it is often a huge, watershed moment, whether their family, because of their love for that person, will also compromise their beliefs and their following of Jesus. And it happens all the time. Like prominent pastors, I've seen many prominent pastors, well, pastors at least, I don't know how prominent they are, who when a son or daughter comes out as gay, they go, yeah, I've changed my theology on this. And this is, what I'm suggesting is, here in Deuteronomy, this is a problem. Of course, it's a problem today. It's a temptation when our loved ones go away from God, we want to go to. And we have to pick between them and God. So you shall not yield, don't listen. And he says, don't pity them, don't spare or conceal him. Don't hide him from the people that can protect him. But you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first against him to put him to death, afterwards the hand of all the people. So you shall stone him to death, because he has sought to seduce you from the Lord your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt and out of the house of slavery. Which is, in other words, he sought to bring you harm that is both temporal and eternal, by leading you away from God. So this is a pretty significant thing. This is like attempted murder, spiritually speaking, when you bring false prophecy, or not just false prophecy here. This isn't just about false prophet. This is about leading people away from God. Because a false prophet could just be in error. There's still a false prophet. There's teaching about stoning them too, by the way. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid, and will never again do such a wicked thing among you. That's the main lesson. We got to teach the people to stay close to God. Why don't we apply that today? Well, because we're not under the law. Please, if anybody's feeling conflicted and confused on this, I have a 2-part video series, and I hope, mods, if you can put this in the live chat, I'll put a link down below as soon as I finish the stream. This is how to understand the Old Testament law. This is years old, my teaching on this, but I've had a lot of good feedback. People have told me many times that this really helped them, these 2 videos. This will help you answer this question and 1,000 others. We are not under the law. That's not a throwaway phrase. That's an important New Testament teaching. So what do we do with the law? I talk about this in that series as well. We learn principles from it. And so the penalty of the law, you're not under, but there's a principle here. God does not want you leading people away from God. That's an important principle. So how do I apply this to Joseph Smith? Well, you ignore him leading you to false gods. He believes in many gods, multiple gods. He teaches all this sort of polytheism stuff that is in Mormonism, even though many times they don't want to. I say they don't want to. I think they're trained to try to walk around those issues because it's part of the PR of trying to grow Mormonism. Because for Mormonism, the growth of the movement is more important than the theology itself, which is a weird thing that's happened over the years, but that seems to be the case. That they've shifted to being preserving the movement is more important than even preserving our teachings. But there's too much cancer. There's too much cancer. It can't be saved. Everybody needs to stop being Mormon at this point. So, so I can apply this to him. This is easy, man. Joseph Smith led people away from God. You don't listen to them. Do you stone him? Well, we're not under the law. Please check out that 2-part series, Gene. I really think you'll be blessed by it. Tons of scripture I use to demonstrate each point that I make in there. and I will link it below as well.